Have you ever wondered if some of the habits we develop with age might quietly push people away without us even realizing it? The truth is, as the years go by, we naturally settle into familiar routines, some comforting, even wise. But others, if left unchecked, can subtly chip away at the very respect, warmth, and connection we spent a lifetime building. No one warns you about this. Family members, friends, even neighbors may notice small things, changes in how we carry ourselves, how we interact. But out of love or discomfort, they stay silent, and slowly the distance grows. In today's video, we're going to have a real, honest conversation. We'll explore 12 habits that often emerge in our later years, behaviors that might make others uncomfortable without meaning to. But here's the good news. This isn't about blame. It's about awareness. And small shifts can make an enormous difference. If you're someone who values dignity, connection, and being a positive presence for your loved ones, this video is for you. Together, we'll uncover how staying mindful can help us not only preserve the bonds we treasure, but strengthen them, making our later years even richer and more fulfilling. And don't worry, this isn't about perfection. It's about showing up with grace, adjusting with wisdom, and staying beautifully connected to the world around us. So stay with me until the end. Some of these insights might surprise you, and a few small changes could truly transform how you experience your relationships and yourself in this beautiful chapter of life. Let's dive in. 1. Neglecting personal hygiene. As we grow older, maintaining personal hygiene can sometimes slip lower on our list of priorities, often without us even noticing. It's easy to understand why. Energy levels decrease, daily routines shift, and for some, a quiet thought creeps in. Does it really matter anymore? But here's the hidden truth. Those small details still send powerful messages. Clothes worn a few days in a row, hair that isn't brushed, fingernails left a bit too long, or even a lingering scent. These subtle signs may seem harmless, but they shape how others perceive us far more than we realize. You see, hygiene isn't just about staying clean. It's a reflection of self-respect. When we take the time to care for our appearance, wearing a fresh shirt, brushing our hair, trimming our nails, we're silently telling the world, I still value myself. I still value you. And people notice. They may not mention it aloud, especially younger family members who fear offending you. But they respond. Sometimes it's a little more distance during conversations, fewer hugs, shorter visits. Not because they love you any less, but because they quietly pick up on the signal that you might have stopped caring just a bit. The beautiful part is, this is easily within our control. Maintaining basic hygiene doesn't mean we have to chase fashion trends or look like celebrities. It simply means staying attentive to the small acts that keep our dignity and vitality alive. When you show the world that you still show up for yourself, you invite others to meet you with warmth, respect, and admiration, no matter your age. And truly, that's a legacy worth preserving. 2. Speaking without a filter. As the years pass, many of us begin to feel a hard-won sense of freedom in speaking our minds. After all, with a lifetime of experiences behind us, haven't we earned the right to be honest? But there's a subtle line between being candid and being harsh. And crossing it can quietly push others away without us even realizing it. Sometimes the filter that once reminded us to pause before speaking grows a little thinner with age. Comments about someone's appearance, lifestyle choices, or parenting may slip out with a chuckle or a casual, "I'm just being honest." Yet to the person on the receiving end, those words can sting more than we intend. Today's world, especially among younger generations, places a high value on kindness and emotional sensitivity. What once passed for harmless banter now often feels like judgment or criticism. And while loved ones may smile politely or change the subject, inside they may begin to withdraw to protect themselves from future discomfort. The truth is, genuine wisdom isn't just about speaking our truth. It's about knowing how and when to speak it. Before offering a remark, especially a critical one, a good practice is to ask ourselves, is this kind? Is this necessary? Will this bring us closer or drive us apart? Holding our words with a little more care doesn't mean silencing ourselves, or walking on eggshells. It means choosing compassion over bluntness, curiosity over correction. And the wonderful part? When honesty is wrapped in kindness, people not only listen, they lean in. They respect your voice even more because they know it comes from a heart that truly cares. That's the kind of voice that leaves a lasting impact, and it's never too late to strengthen it. 3. Wearing clothes that don't fit anymore. There's something comforting about slipping into familiar clothes, an old sweater, a favorite pair of jeans, or shoes that have traveled countless miles with us. These pieces often carry memories and a deep sense of ease. But over time, without realizing it, our clothing can begin to send a message we didn't intend. Clothes that no longer fit properly, pants too loose, shirts too snug, styles decades out of date, can quietly suggest that we've stopped paying attention to ourselves. Not because appearance is everything, but because how we present ourselves speaks volumes before we even say a word. You don't need to chase fashion trends or dress like someone half your age to make an impression. It's not about vanity, it's about dignity. Wearing well-fitting, clean, and thoughtfully chosen clothes tells the world, I'm still engaged, I'm still here, I respect myself, and I respect those around me. You might not hear compliments outright. Rarely will someone say, I noticed you updated your wardrobe. But what you will feel is the subtle shift, warmer smiles, more open conversations, a quiet sense of admiration. Updating your wardrobe doesn't have to mean a complete overhaul. Sometimes it's as simple as choosing clothes that flatter your current body, refreshing your colors, or investing in a few versatile pieces that feel good and fit well. The goal isn't to erase the past, but to honor who you are today. A person still evolving, still vibrant, still worthy of being seen at their best. And when you dress with that spirit, the world responds. Because presence isn't just about being there, it's about showing you care, right down to the details. 4. Interrupting or dominating conversations. After living through decades of rich experiences, it's natural to want to share what we've learned. Wisdom, after all, is one of the great gifts of aging. But sometimes, without meaning to, we find ourselves doing more talking than listening, and that's where distance quietly begins to form. You may recognize the pattern. Someone starts telling a story, and before they can finish, you jump in with advice, a similar experience, or your own solution. It often comes from a good place, a desire to help, to guide, to connect. Yet when conversations start to feel one-sided, when others rarely get a full sentence out without being corrected or overrun, it slowly wears down the relationship. Especially with younger generations, who often already feel a gap in understanding, this can be discouraging. They may love and respect you deeply, but begin to withhold their thoughts, keeping conversations surface level to avoid feeling dismissed. The key isn't about speaking less, it's about listening more. It's about pausing, letting silence have its place, and showing genuine curiosity in what others are saying. It's about resisting the urge to turn every conversation into a teaching moment unless asked. One simple practice: after someone shares something, ask a follow-up question instead of responding with your own story. This small shift invites deeper dialogue and signals that you value their voice as much as your own. And the wonderful irony is, the more you truly listen, the more people will seek your insight, not because they have to, but because they feel heard. And that's when your words will land with real weight and meaning. Connection, after all, is built in the spaces between our words, not just the words themselves. 5. Complaining about younger generations. It's almost a tradition across every generation, looking at the young and wondering, what's happening to the world? But when observations about kids these days turn into constant complaints, it quietly creates more distance than connection. You might find yourself thinking, or even saying aloud, back in my day, we respected our elders, or they don't know what hard work is anymore. While those reflections are understandable, when they dominate conversations, they can leave younger people feeling judged rather than understood. The truth is, every generation faces challenges the ones before it didn't. The world today, full of digital technology, social change, in economic uncertainty, is different from the one we grew up in. And while it may be tempting to critique, the real opportunity lies in choosing curiosity over criticism. Instead of highlighting what's wrong, we can ask, what's it like to be young in today's world? Or, what gives you hope for the future? These questions open doors instead of building walls. They show younger family members that you're not stuck in the past. You're still growing, still interested, still connected. When you shift from complaint to conversation, something powerful happens. Your children and grandchildren stop bracing for judgment and start seeking your perspective. They don't see you as someone clinging to how things used to be, but as a source of wisdom that bridges generations. In the end, respect is a two-way street, and by showing openness rather than frustration, you ensure that your voice continues to matter, today, tomorrow, and far beyond. Because true influence isn't about pointing out what's wrong, it's about inspiring others to find what's right. 6. Ignoring modern etiquette. Times change, and with them, so do the unspoken rules of how we share public spaces. What once seemed perfectly acceptable, chatting loudly on the phone, playing music without headphones, standing close in line, now often feels inconsiderate in today's world. Modern etiquette is less about formal manners and more about awareness. It's about recognizing how our small actions affect the comfort of those around us, whether we're in a grocery store, at the doctor's office, or even walking down a busy sidewalk. Without meaning to, we can sometimes send the wrong message. I'm not paying attention to how I impact others. And the thing is, people usually won't say anything. They'll shift a few steps away, avoid eye contact, or quietly choose a different seat. This isn't about being judged harshly. It's about how easy it is to lose touch with shifting social norms if we're not mindful. Fortunately, staying in tune is simple. Observe how people around you behave. Are they speaking softly in waiting rooms, using earbuds, maintaining respectful distance? These small cues are powerful indicators of today's expectations. When you adjust your habits accordingly, something subtle but beautiful happens. You show the world that you're still fully present, still thoughtful, still adaptable. And people notice. Neighbors, grandchildren, strangers at the cafe. They respond to that quiet respectfulness with greater warmth and regard. In a world that often feels rushed and disconnected, your mindful presence can be a breath of fresh air. Modern etiquette isn't about being perfect. It's about showing you care. And that care, even in the smallest gestures, leaves a lasting impression that words never could. 7th, oversharing medical problems. Health challenges are an undeniable part of aging. Aches, surgeries, medications, they become familiar topics in our daily lives. But when conversations continually circle back to ailments, doctor visits, or medical frustrations, it can unintentionally weigh heavily on those around us. Of course, it's natural to want to share what's going on, especially when health plays such a big role in daily life. Yet when medical updates dominate every interaction, others, especially younger family members, may begin to feel overwhelmed or helpless. They often don't know how to respond. They want to support you, but hearing a steady stream of problems can create an emotional distance rather than closeness. Instead of leaning in, they may quietly pull back, keeping conversations lighter, avoiding topics that might trigger another long list of symptoms. This doesn't mean you need to bottle up your experiences. Sharing challenges is healthy and important. The key is balance. Mention your struggles when needed, but make space for other topics too. Ask about your grandchildren's lives, talk about hobbies, recent books you've read, or a beautiful sunset you noticed. By keeping conversations balanced, you remind others, and yourself, that while health is part of your story, is not your whole story. And here's the beauty of it. When you focus more on life's small joys than on its hardships, people are naturally drawn closer to you. They leave conversations feeling lighter, not heavier. You still deserve empathy and support, but by choosing when and how you share, you preserve your role as a source of warmth, strength, and resilience. That kind of presence, one rooted in honesty but carried with hope, is a rare and precious gift at any age. 8. being stubborn about outdated beliefs. Holding firm to our beliefs can feel like a badge of honor, especially when those beliefs have guided us through decades of life's ups and downs. But when we refuse to even consider new ideas or perspectives, we risk building walls instead of bridges and quietly shutting out the very people we love most. The world has changed dramatically over the past few decades. Technology, social values, family structures, and even how people define success. Clinging tightly to the way things used to be can make younger generations feel dismissed, misunderstood, or even judged. The real danger isn't just being old-fashioned, it's becoming unwilling to listen. Phrases like, "that's just how it is," or "people are too sensitive these days," may feel honest, but they often come across as closed-minded to those who are simply navigating a very different world. True wisdom doesn't mean insisting we have all the answers. It means staying curious, even when things feel unfamiliar. It means being willing to say, "I never thought about it that way. Tell me more." When you show openness to hearing new ideas, even when you don't fully agree, you build trust. You become someone younger people want to talk to, not because you validate everything, but because you make space for understanding. And often, being willing to listen leads to surprising moments of connection and even growth. Your strength isn't measured by how firmly you hold on to the past, but by how gracefully you adapt to the present. In a world that is always shifting, a spirit of openness keeps your influence alive, your relationships strong, and your presence more powerful than ever. 9. Walking or moving without awareness of space. As we age, it's natural for our pace to slow and our movements to become more cautious. However, what we sometimes lose along the way is an active awareness of how our movement affects those around us. You've probably seen it, and maybe even caught yourself doing it, stopping abruptly in the middle of a busy grocery aisle, parking a cart sideways, or unintentionally blocking a narrow walkway. These small actions are rarely done with bad intent. Often we're simply focused on what's right in front of us, reading a label, catching our breath, or thinking through a task. But in today's fast-moving world, others may quickly notice. Rather than saying anything, they'll quietly maneuver around you, maybe exchanging glances with others. And over time, these little moments can shape how people perceive you, not as thoughtful and steady, but as someone to navigate around. The solution isn't about moving faster or trying to keep up with everyone else. It's about staying mindful. When you're in a public space, whether at a supermarket, a church hallway, an airport, or a sidewalk, take a moment to check your surroundings. Am I blocking a path? Is there someone waiting behind me? Would stepping to the side make things easier for others? Small adjustments make a big difference. They signal respect for shared spaces and consideration for the flow of people around you. When others see that you move with awareness, not rushed but thoughtfully, it builds silent admiration. It shows that while your pace may have changed, your thoughtfulness has not. And in a world that often feels rushed and distracted, that kind of presence, graceful, considerate, and aware, leaves a lasting and uplifting impression. 10. Making jokes that don't age well. A good sense of humor is one of life's greatest treasures, especially as we get older. It lightens heavy moments, brings people closer, and reminds us not to take life or ourselves too seriously. However, not every joke stands the test of time. Some jokes that once drew laughter decades ago, teasing someone's appearance, background, or personal choices, may now land very differently. Today's culture is far more sensitive to issues of inclusion, respect, and diversity. Jokes that play off outdated stereotypes or poke fun at differences often no longer feel funny to younger generations. Instead, they can feel awkward, uncomfortable, or even hurtful. And here's the tricky part. Most people won't tell you. They'll laugh politely or change the subject. But over time, they may start keeping a bit more distance, avoiding deeper conversations where a misplaced joke might surface. This doesn't mean we have to abandon humor altogether. In fact, humor rooted in kindness, cleverness, and even a little self-deprecation is more welcome than ever. A quick story about a funny mistake you made last week, a gentle observation about life's oddities. These types of humor bring people closer, not push them away. Before making a joke, a simple rule can help. Ask yourself, is this making fun of someone or inviting someone to laugh with me? Laughter that lifts rather than wounds is the kind that builds bridges across generations. The truth is, being able to adapt your sense of humor to the times shows tremendous emotional intelligence and warmth. And when people feel safe to laugh with you, not at the expense of others, they're drawn to you even more. Because genuine humor at any age is a true form of connection. 11. Acting helpless when you're not. It's perfectly normal to need more help as we age. Physical limitations, changing technology, and new challenges can sometimes make even simple tasks feel overwhelming. However, there's a fine line between asking for needed assistance and falling into the habit of acting helpless when we're still capable. It often starts innocently. You might say, "I can't figure out this new phone," or "I'll just mess it up. Can you do it for me?" It seems harmless, even playful. But over time, if these habits grow, they can quietly send a discouraging message to the people around you. Family members, friends, and caregivers may begin to feel more like servants than supporters. Even though they want to help, they may feel taken for granted or emotionally drained when asked to handle things you could still manage with a little effort. The truth is, people admire perseverance far more than perfection. When they see you trying, figuring out the remote, lifting your own grocery bag, or troubleshooting a simple tech issue, they feel inspired, not burdened. Asking for help when it's truly necessary is wise, but maintaining your independence wherever you can is just as powerful. Each time you choose to engage, even in small ways, you reinforce a deep message. I'm still capable. I'm still willing to learn. I still contribute. In that spirit, the quiet determination to stay active and involved earns profound respect from those around you. You don't have to do everything alone, but showing that you're still standing tall, still trying, still fighting for your own strength, that's the kind of resilience that makes others proud to walk beside you. 12. Pretending you're always right. After a lifetime of experiences, lessons, and hard-earned wisdom, it's natural to feel confident in your views. You've seen trends come and go, weathered challenges, and built a life based on principles that served you well. But sometimes, without meaning to, that confidence can harden into something less helpful: the need to always be right. Correcting someone's story at the dinner table, dismissing new ideas with a quick, "Trust me, I know better," or rolling your eyes when someone shares a different opinion. These small actions may seem harmless, yet over time, they quietly silence the people around you. Loved ones, especially younger generations, may stop opening up. Not because they don't care about your insights, but because it feels exhausting to engage when every conversation feels like a competition instead of a connection. True wisdom isn't about winning arguments. It's about knowing when to offer your thoughts and when to simply listen with curiosity and grace. When you make room for others' perspectives, even when you disagree, you build deeper trust. You show that your value isn't tied to always having the last word, but to offering presence, patience, and understanding. And here's the beautiful irony. The less you insist on being right, the more people genuinely seek out your opinion. They ask for your advice not out of obligation, but out of true respect. Being a strong voice doesn't mean being the loudest. It means being the voice that makes others feel heard, seen, and valued. In the end, people remember not how often you corrected them, but how often you made them feel respected while sharing your wisdom. And that's a legacy worth leaving. As we've explored today, small habits, often unnoticed, can quietly shape how others experience us in our later years. But here's the empowering truth. Awareness changes everything. Recognizing these habits isn't about judgment. It's about reclaiming your influence, your dignity, and your ability to keep building meaningful connections, no matter your age. Aging gracefully isn't about staying stuck in old ways or pretending challenges don't exist. It's about adapting with wisdom, carrying yourself with quiet strength, and choosing to be someone who uplifts every room you enter. You don't have to be perfect. You don't need to erase every misstep overnight. Even small shifts, a pause before speaking, a smile instead of a complaint, a fresh shirt instead of yesterday's, can send powerful signals. I'm still here. I still care. I still choose to show up fully. And when you do, others respond with respect, warmth, and a deeper sense of connection. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these reflections resonated with you the most? Is there one small change you feel ready to make in your daily life? Please leave a comment below and share your thoughts. Your voice matters and your experiences inspire others more than you realize. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification. Your support helps us continue creating meaningful content that celebrates the strength, wisdom, and beauty of every season of life. Thank you for being here and for choosing to keep growing, connecting, and shining one thoughtful moment at a time. We'll see you in the next video.